Welcome to Plaid for Women TV, your go-to resource for the business of life. Whether the CEO of your home or your own business, women struggle with the same challenges. At Plaid TV, we discuss real-life issues affecting real women and offer solutions to help you achieve your goals, get connected, and be heard. Together, we will change the world. Let's do this. No mean girls allowed.
Hey, welcome everybody to Plaid for Women TV. I'm Siobhan Palmer. In this video, we're talking about a great topic, alignment, both in your personal and professional life. My guest today is Ms. Kristin Kaufman. She's the CEO and founder of Alignment Incorporated, which is a consultancy firm that helps individuals, corporations, boards of directors really align both within themselves and their companies. Kristin, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here.
It's a pleasure. Okay, I love this topic, alignment. I would be very curious. Why don't you give us your definition of alignment?
Right. So my definition of alignment is when you love what you do and you're good at it. Most importantly, it's tied to something greater than yourself. And if any one of those pillars is not there, you're really not aligned, and you're certainly not at your most powerful.
Interesting. Okay, so why don't you give us a definition of personal alignment?
Well, for me, it's very similar to what I just mentioned. For me, when I was finding myself out of alignment, I was no longer loving what I was doing. I might have still been really good at it, but I was no longer loving it. Mm-hmm. Most importantly, it was no longer tied to something greater than myself. I kind of lost the plot. So I became wobbly, a little bit out of balance or out of alignment. And I certainly was not at my most powerful.
You know, I love that. So from a physiological standpoint, I found that myself, when you're personally out of alignment, it impacts your mood, maybe your physicality. There are all kinds of things can manifest when you're out of alignment personally.
No question. Personally and professionally.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, as a leadership coach, I run across individuals all the time who may still be really good at what they do, but they don't love it anymore. So guess what? They're probably not going to be really good at it for much longer.
Because they're kind of on autopilot.
They're on autopilot. So they lose their edge. They lose their ability to really perfect what it is they're doing, and therefore they're not at their most powerful any longer.
Right. And then relationships that can be impacted when you're personally out of alignment.
No question, because then you're not at your most powerful. You know, when you think of things that are aligned, they're grounded, they're stable, they're focused, they're directed, they're passionate, they're tied to something much greater than themselves, and in some ways a divine providence, a providential position. When any of that's missing, you're simply not at your most powerful being.
You know, you've had a tremendous corporate career. Now that you're in training companies and so forth, consultancy, tell me, give me some examples of companies that you believe are in great alignment, or some of your clients.
Yes. Well, Southwest Airlines is the first one that comes to mind.
Fantastic company.
Right? They're a fantastic company. They have not lost the plot. Their employees are as important as their clients. They make their culture real. Their employees have a great time doing what it is that they're doing. So the employees love what they do, they're good at it, and it's tied to something greater than themselves, which is the Southwest culture. Rodan & Fields Dermatology, which is my skincare business, absolutely fantastic company. The founders, Dr. Rodan and Dr. Fields, who of course were famous for the Proactive brand, they've created this new company. It's all geared toward the anti-aging market, so it's demographically very sound.
Sure.
But their whole mantra is changing skin and changing lives. So again, a very aligned market, a very aligned marketing message, and their whole culture revolves around that. That's an aligned company.
Let's talk about the downfall of a company being out of alignment. It can be catastrophic in some instances. So kind of walk through some of the variables that you've seen being in the corporate arena now, consulting companies.
You know, most of the time it starts at the top. Mm-hmm. So oftentimes your leadership team or your board is out of alignment. Where the CEO wants to take the company might be out of alignment where his direct lieutenants want to take the company, or where the board wants to take the company. When you have that dysfunction or that lack of alignment around a common vision or a common mission, you get splintered in your approach to the market. And we see that all the time in companies where the companies simply, they're not strong any longer because they've lost the plot and they don't really know where they're going to go or how they're going to get there. And that is, to me, a lack of alignment.
So give me some examples specifically, like lack of alignment. So you've got ego issues at the top. There's not appreciation for the employees. The culture is very toxic.
Yes, so you have a lack of alignment around a vision, lack of alignment around the mission, lack of alignment on how you're going to get there, not just the where and the what, but also the how they're going to do it. If any of that's out of alignment, then your culture also falls right underneath that. Your employees are unhappy, they don't feel appreciated, they don't feel rewarded, the compensation plan or the projection of growth for those employees is out of alignment, you're really headed south.
You know, it's very interesting because I've had friends in the past that have devoted 20 plus years to a company, were quite frankly miserable, but they call what's it called, golden handcuffs?
The golden handcuffs, yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, you know, I see that a lot too. And of course, I think, frankly, as the workforce grows older, you're probably not going to be given the opportunity. You're going to be asked to leave at a certain point. I see this all the time. They can hire younger people for less money than the seasoned people and the experienced people that have those jobs. You know, I had 3 fantastic corporate careers as executives with 3 publicly traded companies. I loved every position I had. When I left, my mother always used to say, leave the party while you're having a good time. And I'm glad
Smart lady.
and I'm glad I left the party while I was having a good time. And I took those experiences and I applied them in the new role that I would take. Luckily, I wasn't asked to leave, right?
Yeah, right.
I made the decision for myself, but unfortunately, a lot of people don't have that opportunity.
Right. Okay, let's talk about, is alignment an ever-evolving process? Because I think once you get aligned, you personally or professionally go, bam, I've got it.
Yeah.
But I would imagine there's so many dynamics playing in here that you constantly have to be.
Absolutely. It's always changing. I was aligned when I was at Hewlett-Packard. I outgrew it, and I was no longer in alignment, so I left and I joined a software company. I was in alignment, loved it, grew, changed. I changed, and we're not static. As human beings, we're always constantly evolving and changing. So therefore, what aligns us is also going to change.
Right.
What we love to do, what we're good at, and as it's tied to something greater than ourselves, will undeniably change throughout the course of our lives. I'm aligned right now. I love what I'm doing. Will this be forever? I have no idea. But I have to be willing to take these experiences and apply it to the future if the future changes.
You had a very, very interesting opportunity. You worked with the former New York Mayor, Michael Bloomberg, on an initiative in New York City. Why don't you share with us that?
Well, and I'm so glad you brought that up because I was actually at a software company and I was having a great time and doing very, very well. I sort of lost the plot, wasn't really sure what I was going to do, and my dear friend and mentor, Dr. Noel Tishy, asked me to join the Leadership Academy in New York, working for Chancellor Joel Klein and under Mayor Bloomberg, with the whole fulcrum being taking what we know in business and applying it to education. So teaching the leaders in the educational
best practices.
That's right. How to hire, how to fire, how to create a vision, how to create a mission, how to hold people accountable, how to have difficult conversations. Because what's amazing to me is, wonderful as these educators are, they are academic and they're excellent teachers. But do they have the skill set to lead? Most of the time, they haven't been trained like we have in corporate America. So having that opportunity to take all those experiences and apply it to the 1,200 educators in the New York City public schools.
1,200.
They're 1,200. 1.5 million children in New York, 50% reading under grade level. So the whole impetus for Mayor Bloomberg was to change the educational system, education reform. I call it the Super Bowl of education reform movements.
Wow.
And the way he was going to do that was empowering the leaders in the schools to make those hard calls and to really drive the change that needed to happen. It was an absolutely fantastic experience, one that truly, I think, put me on the trajectory to create Alignment, Inc.
That's wonderful. And also, just to wrap up and leave on a positive note, you mentioned a company you have a great deal of regard for, Southwest Airlines. Could you kind of give us bullet points in terms of what you think they are offering as a company that makes it such a unique culture? And from what I understand, very few people leave Southwest. Once they're in there, they love it so much they typically retire.
Yes, I think it's the culture, number one. It's a fun place to work. Yep. The employees are valued and appreciated, both monetarily, but more importantly through reward and recognition. Yep. They're appreciated. They truly are appreciated. It's a fun place to work. You know, you get on a Southwest Airlines flight, even if it's 110 degrees outside and about 108 inside the plane, you're all laughing and having a great time because the flight attendants are having a great time. So I think culture cannot be underestimated. I mean, it's the trump card over everything. Where companies' alignment really comes from.
Right. So Southwest obviously has the plot in alignment.
I think
Their
so.
plot is in alignment, right?
I think so, yes.
Kristin, thank you. Great series. Why don't you give our audience a way to get a hold of you with great information on all of your companies?
Okay. You can reach me at www.Kristin Kaufman, and that's KristinKaufman.com.
Terrific. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Siobhan Palmer for Plaid for Women TV. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching Plaid TV. See you next time.